Hi, I'm Bill Jart.
And I'm Greg Vandenberg from U.S. Venture. The U.S. Venture Open is teaming up with Bill and WBAY to raise every dollar we can to end poverty in Northeast Wisconsin. This year marks the 35th annual U.S. Venture Open, a philanthropic event which is historically the largest golf outing in the country, dedicated completely to ending poverty in our community. People often recognize the U.S. Venture Open because we've created amazing long-term partnerships with companies, family foundations, and individuals, along with bringing in guests of honor whose philanthropic work aligns with ours. You'll know the likes of Donald Driver, Dwayne Wade, Michael Phelps, and Matthew McConaughey.
Due to the recent pandemic, we're not able to come together this year, so WBAY and Woodward Radio Group have teamed up with the U.S. Venture Open to bring the celebration of giving to the airways and into thousands of homes throughout Northeast Wisconsin. From food to shelter to education, job training, and mental and physical health. We need your support now more than ever to fund effective and impactful nonprofits to help those in need. In the next hour, you will see and hear incredible stories of impact throughout the passionate and effective nonprofits in the region. You'll hear from individuals and families who've been given the support and path forward to not only be just self-sufficient, but thriving in our community. With the worldwide pandemic and economic downturn, job loss, and social justice, the need is even larger and more urgent than ever. We need your support to help our friends, neighbors, and community.
Watch and hear the amazing stories of nonprofits, individuals, and families being supported by the funds raised from the U.S. Venture Open. You can help your neighbor and your community by calling the phone lines now until 8 at the number on the screen, or online at usventureopen.com. You also still have time to go to our online auction by texting USVO to the number on the screen, which closes at 7:30 tonight, and you can bid on amazing packages both big and small. Now more than ever, our community needs you.
WBAY is excited to join the U.S. Venture Open Drive to End Poverty in Northeast Wisconsin. Every single dollar you give to help those in need will be matched by grants by our community partners. Thousands of those needing support and services through our nonprofits rely on events like this to provide much-needed resources to our community, especially in these difficult times. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call now at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Hi, I'm John Schmidt, President and CEO of U.S. Venture. Our company is proud to be part of this effort to end poverty in our community. Because of this, we will again this year pay all expenses associated with the U.S. Venture Open. Additionally, we will donate another $800,000 as a challenge match grant to end poverty in our region. Our goal is to raise $4.5 million. This year, we have a very unique opportunity to share the great work that happens throughout this effort. But first, I'd like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to all of our lead partners who are joining us with matching grants of their own. First, $800,000 from the J.J. Keller Foundation. This partnership and friendship has set the tone and pace for our work for more than a decade. And also our lead partners, Oshkosh Corporation, $250,000, strategic leaders focused on ending poverty. ThedaCare, $200,000. They understand the direct link between poverty and health. Thrivent, $200,000. Thanks for their partnership and all they do to address economic disparity. And our presenting partners, the Rhodes Foundation, $100,000. Community First Credit Union and APC Automotive Technologies, $50,000. Incredible. And our community partners, Festival Foods, Jewelers Mutual, GLK Foods, and my friends at CMD Corporation, all at $35,000. Simply amazing. And lastly, our premier partners, all contributing $25,000. We value their generosity, and it goes without saying we appreciate all of the other 500 plus partners who contribute to this cause to end poverty in the region. The number of programs and collaborating nonprofits is extensive and continues to expand. The issues of poverty, like mental health, housing, food insecurity, and equity are complex. While 2020 has been challenging, it has given us this unique opportunity to share the work with you like never before. We hope you are inspired by the impact our nonprofit leaders and staff are achieving to make Northeast Wisconsin the great community that it is. Thank you.
We're excited to share a snapshot of grants with you tonight. Dollars raised through the U.S. Venture Open are granted out through the Basic Needs Giving Partnership to support programs like Blacktivity, a program designed to take Black youth from the classroom and into the community to learn their history, self-advocacy, and positive activism. Here's more on how this innovative program is creating change in Northeast Wisconsin.
So We All Rise has come like naturally or organically out of our youth programming. And so 3 years ago, We All Rise started as Black Youth Alliance. Black Youth Alliance is an after-school prevention programming where at the time I was working in the school district, and I learned that less than 1% of African American youth in Green Bay were enrolled in after-school programming. And so that was a real shocker. That is really unheard of in a lot of communities across the U.S. And so, one, I was thinking, how do we find solutions to this? But two, I also seen that there is a unique need for community members that are connected to the Black community to step up and become caring adults in young people's lives. And so that started Black Youth Alliance. One of the needs that we've learned with working with our Black youth is that they, even the ones that are born in our city and raised in Green Bay, there's this disconnect that's happening from community. They're not feeling safe disclosing, they don't really know how to navigate the city. There's not a whole lot of partnerships with our young people, especially my teenagers now that they've grown out of different clubs and things in the area. So when we see the Basic Needs Giving Partnership, I'm like, this would be a huge opportunity for our young people to really get out there and get connected to different organizations that are in the community that are going to serve and support them across their lifespan. What that means to just have us out there with them in community, like navigating those spaces, like it really is scary for a lot of our young people. So they don't just pop into places and say, hey, how you doing? You know? But to have the strength of like adults and like caring folks around them, they will experience anything. And so the joy that I get seeing kids do first things for first times, like it's unmatched. It's really unmatched.
Whether it's basic needs like food and shelter or access to mental health and education, U.S. Venture Open is partnering with WBAY and Woodward Radio to end poverty here in Northeast Wisconsin. Every dollar you give to help those in need will be matched in grants up to $2.25 million by generous partners like U.S. Venture, J.J. Keller Foundation, Oshkosh Corporation, Theta Care, and Thrivent. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call at 877-221-5843 or go online at usventureopen.com.
Care is more than a feeling. It's the actions we take to keep those around us healthy and safe. At Theta Care, our dedicated caregivers are doing their part to keep the promise we've held for the past 100 years, providing outstanding care to the communities we call home. As our team works tirelessly to reduce the impact of COVID-19 in our communities, we can do our part to care for those around us and inspire others to do the same. By respecting each other's space, practicing prevention, and maintaining healthy habits. Because what each of us does today prepares us better for tomorrow and keeps our communities safer, stronger, and united through the power of outstanding care. For safety information and convenient care options, visit thetacarecovid19.org or call our community hotline at 920-830-6877.
We believe in challenging the status quo, making the change we want to see around us, supporting the most vulnerable in our community. At the J.J. Keller Foundation, we are committed to making a positive impact and helping those around us with a common goal. But together, we can accomplish more. Now more than ever, our community needs us to think differently, to volunteer differently, to give differently. So together, we can move beyond normal to a brighter tomorrow.
Our work began more than a century ago, with a mission to make a difference, starting here at home. Not only by building the world's toughest vehicles and equipment, but by helping people around the world get the tough jobs done. Mothers and fathers, neighbors and friends, doers, makers, heroes. Helping them is how we make our difference. This is our life's work, and this is where our heart is, home.
Hi, Hi, I'm Heidi Dusick. The J.J. Keller Foundation is extremely proud to support the U.S. Venture Open to End Poverty. We support the work of Apricity, a one-of-a-kind program that provides sober living homes and recovery community right here in Northeast Wisconsin. Learn more about how Apricity is helping your neighbors here at home.
I need the structure and the rules and the fellowship of, if I have an urge to drink, I can just come right up to you and say, man, I'm bumming today, I need your help.
Apricity is a progressive recovery community. We can do everything from residential inpatient treatment, transitional residential, all the way to sober living and employment, all within the same business and a recovery environment. So people are interacting, finding support, all within a continuum that surrounds them with recovery to help them start over in their new life.
We do residential treatment and contract packaging, which allows us to employ people in recovery. So people with substance use issues, bringing them into residential treatment for a month, and then when they're ready to start looking for jobs, we can begin to employ them at our contract packaging plant. When they're ready to move on, we have a couple of different avenues that we can help them move on to new employers, go back to school, work on resumes, get their driver's license back, whatever they need for us to help them with, to take the next steps to cover those gaps in employment, other barriers that they have access to.
This program, I wouldn't have been able to go back to school. I got here about a year ago in last July, and since then I've gone back to college, got a job, getting back on my feet. I'm about to get my son back in my life. So things have been looking up lately.
So Dan and I were doing a presentation for Wisconsin Voices of Recovery. And one of the things that they were really highlighting is how lucky Wisconsin is to have Apricity. We are the only ones in the United States that have this continuum of care going from inpatient residential treatment, transitional residential, sober living, and employment under one roof. So we're really lucky that we've been able to create this continuum and have this support, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without the Basic Needs Giving Partnership.
Hey guys, it's Michael Phelps, and I'm so happy to be doing a shout out to my friends at the U.S. Venture Open and Northeast Wisconsin. I had the pleasure of being the guest of honor 2 years ago at the U.S. Venture Open, and it was a great experience. I met the nicest people in the world who are all so passionate about helping others. Their generosity not only helped your community, but also around the world with a donation provided to my foundation, which promotes water safety, healthy living, and the pursuit of dreams. This has been a difficult time for so many, so we have focused on providing a social-emotional program to thousands of children across the country, so that we all feel safe and cared for. I want to help our friends again and hopefully raise some money for my foundation, so I'm offering up an experience in Arizona, golf, with me. It may be a while, but I'll call you right after the winning bid, start trash talking, and thank you for the donation. Thank you, and be safe.
Hi, I'm Wilson Jones. We are proud to support the U.S. Venture Open to End Poverty. I'd like to introduce you to the Team to Work program at the Tri-County Boys and Girls Club in Berlin. Here, young people develop self-confidence and experience by being exposed to different jobs in their community. These teens learn the limitless options open to them in the future, and here's their story.
What we do here at the Boys and Girls Club is, we're trying to change the lives for kids 6 to 18 years old, and a big chunk of those are teenagers. And the Teens to Work program sort of came to be after a lot of years of trying to engage teens in a way that was going to be highly impactful for their lives. And it used to be a strategy of trying to rope them into the club and do all of these really what we thought were highly impactful programs, and then sort of the light bulb came on and we thought, we just need to connect them with real life experiences. That's what the real gap here is. And it's not so much about the trade as it is about teaching these kids the meaning of responsibility, building those essential skills, those soft skills, to become employable members of our community. And really that's what we're striving to do here at the club.
I was out of school my entire junior year. I didn't really do anything for myself. And then after that junior year, that summer was when I came here to the club. As a 16-year-old, I was not social whatsoever, which was problematic to my mental health, and I was just kind of like a hermit. And so I was like, well, maybe coming and getting out of the house every day and learning a little bit more work ethic will help me feel better about myself. I'll have some spending money for myself, and I was able to make payments towards my fines on my own.
So there's 5 employers currently. We need 10. We need 12. We need 20 because we have 15. I got another email this morning. There's another kid interested in getting some work experience, and what used to be a summer program is now going to be a year-round experience. Okay, we need to grow our company base to accept kids and give them this valuable job experience.
I don't think I would be graduated. I don't think that I would have my driver's license. I don't think that I would have the mental stability that I do now, because I've had so many curveballs thrown at me in my life, and there has been many times that I was like, nope, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore, it's not for me, that I just stuck it out. And I'm so glad that I did, because if I wouldn't have persevered, maybe I wouldn't have come in contact with the club, and maybe I wouldn't have met some of the people that I met. So just to persevere and to keep going through all of the bad things is like my biggest thing, because that's why I'm sitting here today, is perseverance.
So much about what this program means and some of the other programs we do with teens is about taking the ceiling off of their expectations, because they walk through our doors with a preconceived notion of what their future should be. It should look like their parents. It will look like their parents. They're convinced of it. The money's not there for school. I'm not smart enough. All of those things. And the biggest thing that this program does and what our staff do for these kids is they take the roof off. They take the roof off of that so that these kids can dream. And so this is one piece of a bigger plan to get kids to think bigger and have a brighter future. So.
WBAY is excited to join the U.S. Venture Open Drive to End Poverty in Northeast Wisconsin. Every single dollar you give to help those in need will be matched by grants by our community partners. Thousands of those needing support and services through our nonprofits rely on events like this to provide much-needed resources to our community, especially in these difficult times. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call now at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Mornings can be chaotic for a lot of families.
It's time for the Morning Rush, and we start with breaking news.
Every morning starting at 6:45, we bring you nonstop news, weather, and traffic to the top of the hour.
Morning Rush weather, let's get a peek at that. Here's Steve. All right, Morning Rush weather today. Fantastic.
Our team leads you into a brand new day with information you need to know.
As the traffic has picked up, we are starting to see some more crashes.
The Morning Rush, starting at 6:45, only on Action 2 News this morning.
If someone came to you and asked, what are you invested in? Would your answer be about mutual funds and money markets? Or would it be mutual relationships and farmers markets? Maybe both. At Thrivent, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. And with the right guidance, it can afford you a life rich in meaning and gratitude. By gaining financial clarity today, you can thrive with purpose tomorrow. Talk to a Thrivent financial professional or visit Thrivent.com.
Our work began more than a century ago, with a mission to make a difference, starting here at home. Not only by building the world's toughest vehicles and equipment, but by helping people around the world get the tough jobs done. Mothers and fathers, neighbors and friends, doers, makers, heroes. Helping them is how we make our difference. This is our life's work, and this is where our heart is, home.
Let's summer. Let's dine out by truly dining out. Let's send smoke signals to the neighbors, then serve up the freshest of food with a side of fresh air. Let's raise our tongues to tasty by introducing our grills to new thrills and make mouths water more than a backyard slip and slide. Let's live a little more by having another s'more, because summer is here and no one does summer like Festival Foods.
We believe in challenging the status quo, making the change we want to see around us, supporting the most vulnerable in our community. At the J.J. Keller Foundation, we are committed to making a positive impact and helping those around us with a common goal. But together, we can accomplish more. Now more than ever, our community needs us to think differently, to volunteer differently, to give differently. So together, we can move beyond normal to a brighter tomorrow.
Whenever you need us, wherever you need us, radio is with you.
On your stereo, on your mobile device, on your smart speaker, or on your computer.
We are with you. We are with you.
And we are with you.
And we are with you.
Stay safe.
Oh, Lord. Look how awful. I haven't showered in a few days. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, more than a few, probably 6.
We are employee-owned Woodward Radio Group, and we are with you.
Get outside. Stay safe. Take a break and plan it all using your First Alert weather app. Trust us. Trust the First Alert weather app.
Whether it's basic needs like food and shelter or access to mental health and education, U.S. Venture Open is partnering with WBAY and Woodward Radio to end poverty here in Northeast Wisconsin. Every dollar you give to help those in need will be matched in grants up to $2.25 million by generous partners like U.S. Venture, J.J. Keller Foundation, Oshkosh Corporation, ThedaCare, and Thrivent. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Dwayne Wade. Listen, I just want to send a quick shout out to my U.S. Venture Open family and friends, and also to all my friends and family in Wisconsin. I had an unbelievable time in 2017 coming up to the U.S. Venture Open event. Started with golf. I wasn't that good at the time, so I got to make sure I come back and redeem myself for sure. That's why my bid, if you bid online for you and a friend to golf with me, I want to prove that I'm better. So that's the goal. But outside of that, just really being a part of watching the give back, being a part of watching, people really a part of, trying to, give money to change things. That really made me excited. I do a lot of things in my foundation. I do a lot of things with social justice and giving back. So this is just a part of me. So I'm thankful to be associated with you guys, and I can't wait to be able to come down again and enjoy a little time. So see you guys soon.
Hello, I'm Dr. Imran Andrabi. ThedaCare is proud to be part of the U.S. Venture Open to End Poverty. Funds support the STAR program that ThedaCare helped launch, an initiative working to eliminate the achievement gap that currently exists for Black youth. The Boys and Girls Club of the Fox Valley placed opportunity coordinators in both Menasha and Appleton middle and high schools, providing support that these youth need to be successful. This is their story.
The first time students saw me at Menasha, we were down in the cafeteria during lunch hours. And we noticed some students kept kind of giving us a look like, okay, who are these new faces? And then by the end of that day, a student just walked right up and said, I have to know who you are and why are you here? So I told them a little bit about the STAR program and that, I will be working here, and their face just lit up, their eyes got big, and just seeing a huge smile. The student said, I've never been in a school where we had a Black staff member, and I am so happy. And from that moment on, it was like, this is definitely the right spot to be, right place to be, I should say.
You can't have a quality program, you can't make impact if you can't build trusting relationships with youth. And so the possibility of having volunteers or potentially other more short-term rotating staff like from AmeriCorps really wasn't a feasible option for us. And so with us having the support from individuals and other organizations such as Basic Needs Giving Partnership, we were able to actually have a program model that would allow us to create a sustainable support system for these youth.
So I had a young man 2 years ago. He lives in Milwaukee now, but he's kind of feisty. And he came into my office fired up, and there's a whole incident. But I brought him with me to the principal's office, and we went about it the right way. And then he stayed and stuck around and talked with the principal some more. And I was just in my office, and he came in. And as soon as he closed my door, he started crying, and he gave me a huge hug. And that was everything. You know, that's why I fight for what I fight for, and I can still remember that those are power moments. You know, it's not like, hey, getting an A is great, right? But when someone feels that you really actually care about who they are as a human, and to be able to be on the receiving end of that hug, that's everything.
I think we should keep the STAR program, not only just because of me and my friends, but other students, they may feel unwelcome in other places because they're not African American or have anybody to relate to. But it's just a nice, healthy place to be, especially when you need help. A high school without STAR would be very hard, especially from my past experience. When times were really low, I just need STAR. Sad.
For more than a decade, all the funds raised from the U.S. Venture Open go to a regional collaboration known as the Basic Needs Giving Partnership. This partnership is a collaboration including U.S. Venture, J.J. Keller Foundation, Oshkosh Corporation, ThedaCare, and Thrivent. All donations from the U.S. Venture Open go to our great partners at the Greater Green Bay Community Foundation, the Community Foundation for the Fox Valley Region, and the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation. Grant teams from all three of these community foundations look for the most effective and impactful grants that aspire to end poverty in Northeast Wisconsin and distribute 100% of the funds collected. Tonight, I'm excited to share a conversation with the three community foundation CEOs to learn more about the changes and impact they are experiencing.
We at U.S. Venture and with the Basic Needs Giving Partnership have so appreciated the partnership and collaboration we have with the Greater Green Bay Community Foundation, and really would love to hear from you and how tied you are into the Greater Green Bay community. To start, talk a little bit about what the pandemic has meant to your community.
I think so many people who are watching this video today understand that local nonprofits are at the absolute front line of meeting the needs every single day, whether you're going through this crisis or not. And a lot of times those needs go hidden or unseen. And when a community or a country is going through a crisis, especially a pandemic right now, those needs just get exacerbated in ways that we could have never really imagined. And that's done nothing but create more and more demand on nonprofits. At the same time, those nonprofits are getting hammered economically because they're being impacted like any other business or individual might. And it's really creating almost the perfect storm, if you will, of their own crisis. How do we meet those needs? At the same time, how do we stay viable to make sure we're serving those individuals? And in many times, I think that's when philanthropy and community leadership need to be at its best.
There's so many needs in the community, a lot of great organizations. Why should someone sitting at home watching this interview or listening on the radio to this interview, why should they give to the U.S. Venture Open?
You know, every single person has the ability to make an impact. Whether it's the time you give to a nonprofit, the $10, the $100, the $10,000, whatever the level is that people are able to give, especially during their current economic instance, you are giving now to an effort in the Basic Needs Giving Partnership and the U.S. Venture Open that is aggregating all of those dollars and extending them even further. And you're investing in a network of people working together to make sure those dollars are going to the most impactful organizations possible, using the best knowledge, the best data, and the best people committed to make an impact on people who may be right next door to you, in your office, down the street, who are really, really struggling right now. And that investment is so worth our ability to go ahead and change a person's life. So I think the aggregation of all those resources together are what really, really makes a huge difference.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
The next grant program we're excited to share provides accessible mental health for the homeless in Brown County. It delivers a full array of long-term mental health services designed to stop the cycle of homelessness and get people into stable living situations.
We have a accessible mental wellness initiative where we partner with 7 different community agencies in order to provide service to the uninsured, underinsured, and highest risk populations. So anything from children on through the aging and disabled populations. And through Basic Needs, we've been able to open our most recent 2 locations, the Aging and Disability Resource Center and at the Boys and Girls Club locations, both East and West Side. So without the support of the Basic Needs Partnership, we would not be able to have those services in our community. And they hit 2 very specialized populations that nobody else in the community is working with.
What's interesting is we're going in and working with some of the individuals that are challenged with the most chronic mental health issues, and the impact, the outcomes that we're seeing are within the top 10% in the nation for effectiveness of our therapy and for the reduction of their mental health symptoms.
Even though we know that there's a need in the community, nobody, not even the professionals who work in this field every day like myself and the rest of foundations, really have any idea what's happening behind closed doors, and everybody has a story. And I think as a community, we make a lot of assumptions based on our own perceptions and our own lives. And the reality for so many of our community members is that it is not as easy as people portray. They're really great at wearing a mask and protecting themselves and whatever it is that life has thrown at them. And there is no such thing as an individual who is strong enough to make it through life all on their own. We're not built that way as human beings. We're social beings for a reason. This is not, foundations can solve this, or the basic needs, grant is going to be the end-all be-all. This is partnership between funders and community organizations and organizations that don't even work with human services, but understand that this is a community need, that this is not an individual need, and that we all have a responsibility to keep our community healthy. This isn't it's not enough just to say we have therapists. We need more than that. We need everybody to jump on board and say our community matters.
WBAY is excited to join the U.S. Venture Open Drive to End Poverty in Northeast Wisconsin. Every single dollar you give to help those in need will be matched by grants by our community partners. Thousands of those needing support and services through our nonprofits rely on events like this to provide much-needed resources to our community, especially in these difficult times. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call now at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Hi, I'm Angela Creel from Jewelers Mutual Insurance Group. Our company is proud to be a long-standing partner of the U.S. Venture Open to End Poverty. Grant Support Healthy Families Washera, a program that provides at-home nurses visits to help new mothers connect to services to support them and their babies. Learn how this program is helping to wipe out rural poverty, one family at a time.
Healthy Families Washera County is a home visiting program visiting prenatal moms, and we can visit families up until the child turns 5 years of age. What's unique to our community is the really rural nature. We have there's a lack of resources here. Lack of mental health treatment, lack of alcohol and other drug abuse treatment. Transportation is a huge issue. Here in Washera County, we only have one daycare in this whole county. We have a huge lack of resources here.
It's the principle of a house call. So you're kind of going on the same routine. I'm getting in my vehicle, I'm going to a home that needs service. It's an old idea that has taken a new route. It's basically, before it was more medical based, now it's more looking at all areas of the family, looking at their health, their well-being, their mental health, just their personal stress. And all of that all combines to affect how they engage with babies. A lot of things I saw were a lack of, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I don't have childcare. I don't have anyone in my home to help me. Because boy, I'll tell you, if you can make that car payment that makes a lot of difference than sitting there going, okay, I gotta make this, but I'm sorry, I don't have any food for you guys anymore.
I was able to go grocery shopping and know that I was getting the right foods, which without this program, I don't know if I'd still have a roof over my head, to be honest.
The moms say thank you. They thank you for Healthy Families program. They said, I just never knew that there was a program like this that would help me. And a lot of them don't even know that there are resources available. And that's what's really helped with this program, to get those message out to these parents. Thank you. I've done so many wonderful things for families. I've been able to give them guest cards. I've been able to give them just resources that they wouldn't have. Feeding supplies. I have lots of babies now that are starting to feed, but moms don't have money to go out and get a spoon, a bowl, or a bib. So we've been bringing that in there, and we've been working on how to feed babies. My hope for the future, just for these families and the babies, is just that they all do wonderful.
Whether it's basic needs like food and shelter or access to mental health and education, U.S. Venture Open is partnering with WBAY and Woodward Radio to end poverty here in Northeast Wisconsin. Every dollar you give to help those in need will be matched in grants up to $2.25 million by generous partners like U.S. Venture, J.J. Keller Foundation, Oshkosh Corporation, Theta Care, and Thrivent. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Bill, it's great to see you. Welcome. Appreciate the partnership we have with the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, and we're glad you're here again with this new pivot of what the U.S. Venture Open is. How has the pandemic changed things in the Oshkosh community?
The Oshkosh Area Community Foundation has been very close with a lot of nonprofits for a long time that deal with basic needs, and this has been a bucking bronco.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot going on. I'd say the first thing that we've noticed that we were called attention to were the number of nonprofits that have some sort of fundraising events that were canceled. That's been the biggest initial thing that's happened. As far as the basic needs and what the people that need the services, of course, food and shelter were the number 1 and 2 things. Eviction is another area that we're looking at. There's been a lot of concerns both on the landlord side and on the tenant side of what's going to happen if the people can't pay the rent. Everyone thinks that it's the landlord that's making out on this, and that's not true. It's both sides are really feeling the effect of COVID on the eviction side.
What are some of the needs that you think are different in the Oshkosh community versus the Fox Valley and Green Bay?
Well, first of all, I would say Oshkosh is a smaller community. I think we benefit greatly from being part of this organization because some of the nonprofits in the Fox cities and Green Bay are further advanced. So Oshkosh benefits greatly from the experience and learning what's going on up here. I also know that through the ALICE report, which is a United Way study on where the need is, Winnebago County has a very high need. There's a lot of smaller businesses that are affected differently with COVID than larger businesses, and I think we're going to see that effect through closings of small retail stores and businesses that are hurting because they don't have they're too dependent on the daily business, and they don't have a big bank account. So I think Oshkosh is a little smaller, so it's affected differently.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
At Community First Credit Union, we are working together to make good things happen in the community. Together, we are helping in a local cleanup effort. Together, we are running for a cause. Together, we are volunteering to make our communities a better place. Together as member owners of Community First, we're putting our money to good use, making a difference in the community.
When it comes to depositing my money, I want my money to earn interest and to help others.
Community First gives back to our community, and I feel like I'm part of the impact.
Together, we are the grit that makes no challenge too great to overcome and no need too small to be significant. We are people helping people, neighbors helping neighbors, in a community working together to spread love by making a positive impact in each other's lives.
We are Community First Credit Union.
Care is more than a feeling.
It's the actions we take to keep those around us healthy and safe. At ThedaCare, our dedicated caregivers are doing their part to keep the promise we've held for the past 100 years, providing outstanding care to the communities we call home. As our team works tirelessly to reduce the impact of COVID-19 in our communities, we can do our part to care for those around us and inspire others to do the same by respecting each other's space, practicing prevention, and maintaining healthy habits. Because what each of us does today prepares us better for tomorrow and keeps our communities safer, stronger, and united through the power of outstanding care. For safety information and convenient care options, visit ThedaCareCovid19.org or call our community hotline at 920-830-6877.
We're Jewelers Mutual, and we insure jewelry and only jewelry. It's all we think about, like a teen girl with a crush, like a dog with a chew toy. We're laser focused like a scientist trying to do sciencey things. Okay, fine, we don't know anything about science, but that's because we're concerned with only one thing: jewelry. The stuff you're as passionate about as we are. And what makes us happiest is knowing you're out there wearing your jewelry without an ounce of worry. So turn to the people who have jewelry running through their dreams. Jewelers Mutual. We insure jewelry and only jewelry.
Hello to all my friends and family in Wisconsin and beyond. I hope you are staying healthy and safe during all this chaos. Please consider supporting the U.S. Venture Open. Now, they've supported charities in Wisconsin to help people that need it the most, especially in times like this. This has been one of the best events I have ever attended, with gracious people, good laughing, and all you can eat family style, what I always consider buffet. Now, how you can support this cause is by bidding online for a virtual game night with me and my family as your special guest. Now, let's go Wisconsin and show everyone that they can never count us out. You all take care. Thank you, and God bless. We'll see you soon.
Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Greg.
It's been great to be partners in this with you personally over the last 6 years for me, but U.S. Venture's been a partner and the Open's been a partner of the Community Foundation for more than a decade. And so you were really part of the original partnership and trailblazing around that, so just want to show my appreciation in that space to you and your staff. So there's many of us that think of poverty as obviously there's needs around housing and food and clothing. You talked about how the partnership and the funds from the U.S. Venture Open have really invested a ton into mental health support. Can you help draw that connection from mental health trauma to poverty?
It's one of the most typical precursors to poverty is people who are suffering from depression, mental health conditions where they just aren't able to be their best selves. They can't be their most productive selves. In some cases, that translates into alcohol and chemical addictions and use, affects their ability to get jobs and keep jobs. It's kind of a perfect storm. It's something that our community has, for about a dozen or more years, really tried to get our arms around, and the Fox Valley region is much better positioned than most, but there's a long ways to go. And the Basic Needs Giving Partnership and some of the larger corporate funders in this area were really early into that years ago and understood that mental health was a major driver toward poverty, and understood that if we don't really get our arms around that and really help to shore up and to return people's mental health to a good place, we'll never truly eliminate poverty.
What brings you hope in the future here in the Fox Valley and through this partnership?
Well, I have and always have had great confidence and appreciation for the people of this region. This region, the quality of life we enjoy, the viability that we have here, it's all due to people, and it's generations of really good people who care. And honestly, I see a lot of the things that have happened through COVID so far, and the ways that organizations have responded and found creative new ways to deliver their services and mission. Some of those are brilliant. Some of those are maybe better than the approaches that we had been using historically, and just were assuming that that was just the way to do things. We're going to have great innovation coming out of this period, and those are all causes for hope and optimism. But when there's a great challenge, there's a great opportunity, and those are the things that generations beyond us will look back at this generation and say, how did our ancestors here in the Fox Valley deal with the COVID crisis? It was an extremely traumatic time for so many, but look what happened. We innovated, we got together, people got together and were generous, they banded together and worked together, and arm in arm, we got through it, and I'd like to think that we're going to come through it even stronger on the other side because of the relationships and the teamwork that we're fostering right now. I have great faith in this region, and I know we're going to get through this the right way.
Awesome. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you, Greg.
Hi, I'm Mark Casper from Amherst. I'm also a member of the grant team for the Green Bay Area Community Foundation, and I'm honored to support the work of the U.S. Venture Open. Funds support the Wisconsin Veterans Village. This unique community provides veterans with help to transition from military to civilian life. From housing to medical care and access to veterans resources, the Veterans Village provides a navigator to help our true heroes re-engage with our community.
We are really filling a need in the northeast Wisconsin, specifically the Fox Valley area, as there is definitely a need for affordable housing in this area. Another really important note is that when you look at kind of veteran populations across the country, we are a higher than average veteran population in our community in northeast Wisconsin, and that's pretty unique because we do not have any active duty military installations in Wisconsin. I go back to my own experience of transitioning from the military. You know, I feel like I didn't have a great, somebody guiding me through the way, saying, here's what you're entitled to and here's what you can benefit from. And it's a very muddy, unclear process for a veteran to navigate as they're transitioning out. So with me on site, I hope to knock down all those barriers. I hope to be a person that they can engage with, and we can more quickly and efficiently get them linked up to the resources they may need. Right now we have 48 apartments on property. As we sit through our phase one, and phase one includes renovating all of those 48 apartments, right now we're at about 31 of those 48 apartments remodeled, and most of those 31 apartments are in fact filled with veterans at this time. So we're excited to see how far we've gotten, but we do have a little bit yet to kind of finish the existing apartments before we can gear up for phase two. Phase two involves adding roughly 26 senior and disabled accommodated apartments, and phase three involves building a 10-bed end-of-life honor home hospice care facility. In the bigger picture, I really see this as a model that can be replicated across the country. I really see this as something that can benefit other communities. And in fact, we've had some other communities reach out sort of informally and say, hey, we're seeing what you're doing, we really like to see what you're doing, and we want something like this in our community. And I think what separates us, again, from some other veteran programs that you see, number one, we're community-led and community-driven. Number two, we're targeting those veterans across the lifespan, as I mentioned before. We're not just plugging vets and giving them a house and hoping they'll be successful. We're really wrapping around them with support and community, and I think that's the key component to our program that's going to make us successful and give us the ability to replicate that in other places.
Hi, I'm Mark Scogan with Festival Foods. Our company is proud to support the work of the U.S. Venture Open to end poverty. Grant support Hungry to Learn, a program addressing the growing number of Northeast Wisconsin Technical College students who are unable to afford basic necessities like food, which can derail the education required for a family-sustaining career. Learn how this program is helping students in poverty.
Last summer, we started a scholarship program with NWTC. So Paul's Pantry had assigned money to start scholarships for students. So we were hoping to pull students from already using the pantry, people that may have always wanted to go back to school, were afraid, or couldn't afford it, and those types of things. So we really want to draw in that community and get them connected to NWTC.
We understand all the barriers that students have to get to school, and once they're in school, how much they sacrifice. Hunger is one of them. Hunger, we don't think about a barrier for students, but if you think about it, they're there all day, and their last thing in their mind when they're having finals and they're having all that is food.
So Leo Frigo is the founder of Paul's Pantry, and education was always really important to him. So that is why my role was created at Paul's Pantry, was for community resource and scholarship.
I've experienced what it's like not having those funds available. I've experienced that with the funds, we could do so much more. And I think without it again, it's setting us back again. And when you're looking at a student, you know, sometimes it might be about the money, but it's really that connection that counts to get them to where they need to be. So the grant is a great tool to help that student succeed.
With the grant, we're really looking to hopefully find out what the barriers are for the students from NWCC not being able to get to Paul's Pantry as often as they want, or to know even about our resource, and for our students to really learn that getting a degree is possible for them. That it is something within the realms that we're able to be there financially and as a cheerleader for any other struggles that they may have along the way. And then hopefully with the scholarships, we'll get them on that they'll be able to be financially stable. And we'll be here along the way to help them with the food until they are at that place.
Whether it's basic needs like food and shelter or access to mental health and education, U.S. Venture Open is partnering with WBAY and Woodward Radio to end poverty here in Northeast Wisconsin. Every dollar you give to help those in need will be matched in grants up to $2.25 million by generous partners like U.S. Venture, J.J. Keller Foundation, Oshkosh Corporation, Theta Care, and Thrivent. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Let's summer. Let's dine out by truly dining out. Let's send smoke signals to the neighbors, then serve up the freshest of food with a side of fresh air. Let's raise our tongs to tasty by introducing our grills to new thrills and make mouths water more than a backyard slip and slide. Let's live a little more by having another s'more, because summer is here and no one does summer like festival foods.
Today we put Bridgestone clutch performance to the test. Bridgestone Turanza Quiet Track tires deliver confident control in wet conditions and come with an 80,000-mile limited warranty. Because every driver deserves clutch performance in the real world. Oh. After all, that's where practice started 3 minutes ago. Bridgestone tires.
We believe in challenging the status quo, making the change we want to see around us, supporting the most vulnerable in our community. At the J.J. Keller Foundation, we are committed to making a positive impact and helping those around us with a common goal. But together, we can accomplish more. Now more than ever, our community needs us to think differently, to volunteer differently, to give differently. So together, we can move beyond normal to a brighter tomorrow.
We're Jewelers Mutual, and we insure jewelry and only jewelry. It's all we think about, like a teen girl with a crush, like a dog with a chew toy. We're laser focused like a scientist trying to do science-y things. Okay, fine, we don't know anything about science, but that's because we're concerned with only one thing: jewelry. The stuff you're as passionate about as we are. And what makes us happiest is knowing you're out there wearing your jewelry without an ounce of worry. So turn to the people who have jewelry running through their dreams. Jewelers Mutual. We insure jewelry and only jewelry.
If someone came to you and asked, "What are you invested in?" would your answer be about mutual funds and money markets? Or would it be mutual relationships and farmers markets? Maybe both. At Thrivent, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. And with the right guidance, it can afford you a life rich in meaning and gratitude. By gaining financial clarity today, you can thrive with purpose tomorrow. Talk to a Thrivent financial professional or visit Thrivent.com.
Whenever you need us, wherever you need us, radio is with you.
On your stereo, on your mobile device, on your smart speaker, or on your computer.
We are with you. We are with you.
And we are with you.
And we are with you.
Stay safe.
Oh, Lord. Look how awful. I haven't showered in a few days. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, more than a few, probably 6.
We are employee-owned Woodward Radio Group, and we are with you.
Right now, we are in the most vicious part of this storm.
Weather is a big deal at ABC and with the WBAY First Alert Weather Team.
You see the powerful storms from Chilton across Lake Winnebago.
These are all the storm reports that came into the weather office tonight. There's a lot.
Chief Meteorologist Steve Balon and Severe Weather Specialist Brad Spakowitz are your Northeast Wisconsin experts. And make sure you get their weather app for great local information.
Here's a First Alert weather update.
ABC and WBAY First Alert Weather.
Hi, I'm Amanda Secor from Community First Credit Union. Our member-owned financial cooperative is proud to support the work of the U.S. Venture Open. Grants support Welcome Baby, a groundbreaking program that supports new families and babies through those critical first years of life. Here's more on how this innovative program is building stronger families.
I'm director for First 5 Fox Valley, and First 5 Fox Valley is a coalition of those professionals touching children and families 0 to 5. So, in particular, the Welcome Baby Project, we have a number of key partners that are working together in direct service. So, Theta Care is one of our key partners. Family Services, Parent Connection is another key partner. Early Intervention, Birth to 3 is at the table. And then my role as First 5 is to talk and convene and then line up that parallel work. We do an alignment so that families have an organized flow of community resources. So we did a pilot project initially. What we learned in that project is that about 45% of first-time parents are not getting connected to services. They don't get initial screening, they don't get home visitation services, and they're not reached through connecting events or outreach events. So what the pilot project intended to do, once we saw that gap, is build on what works. So we know that the screening works, we know that the home visitation works, and we know that connecting events with our partner Building for Kids works. We want to reach all families with that initial birth. This role has really afforded me the opportunity to see the generosity and the passion with which people take up things that are deeply personal to them. Just reading in the paper when the proceeds come in, you pick up the Post-Crescent and you see millions of dollars in the Fox Valley, right? And you think, wow, right? You wouldn't think, right? This tiny community is such a go-getter community, and it really bolsters your faith in people. They're playing golf, but they look forward each year, not to the playing golf, right? Because you can play golf anytime, but to building community, right? And looking for solutions and offering help. So I think that's the important part.
WBAY is excited to join the U.S. Venture Open Drive to End Poverty in Northeast Wisconsin. Every single dollar you give to help those in need will be matched by grants by our community partners. Thousands of those needing support and services through our nonprofits rely on events like this to provide much-needed resources to our community, especially in these difficult times. Now more than ever, our community needs you. Call now at 877-221-5843 or go online to usventureopen.com.
Now more than ever, our community needs you. The phone lines are open until 8 o'clock. Call now at the number on the screen. Text or go online to usventureopen.com.
On behalf of US Venture, our more than 500 partners and generous donors, we want to thank you for your generosity and support of our nonprofits and neighbors who are in need in Northeast Wisconsin.
And Greg, join us tonight on Action 2 News at 10. We'll have the total amount of money Northeast Wisconsin helped us raise today to end poverty here in our area. Thank you so much.